Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Makakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the sincere Akim and Aquat that may listen. May the blessing of election be upon your house. My name is Brother Akwai. I'm back in here with another quick lesson. And for today's lesson, I'm just going to be going through Israelite customs in West Africa, right? And just to show that, predominantly, you so-called Western Africans that dwell in countries such as like Senegal, Liberia, Benin, Mali, Nigeria, Ghana, and so on and so forth. A lot of you are Israelites, right? And I stumbled across this book, and it had a very, very excellent point about one of the customs that was kept by the ancient Israelites, right? And I just wanted to bring this out. And, as always, Yahweh Ratisa, hopefully this lesson will be edifying, right? So, as a matter of fact, let me open up with this quick precept. I didn't have this on the list here, but oops. So this is one of the curses I just wanted to touch on really quickly, because we've been scattered, all over, right? And this is Deuteronomy chapter 28. I will start at verse 64, and it says, the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from one end of the earth to the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone, right? So, because we got scattered, we will be placed into various different lands. We discontinue from our heritage. And, one of the things is that we will end up even looking like a lot of the other nations, right? A lot of our children's children will look like, some of the other nations, right? So, now, one particular place, for the sake of this lesson, that we scattered into was Africa, right? And that happened after Salakia, the invasion of the siege of Jerusalem. You always hear about the siege of Jerusalem in 70 AD after they destroyed the Second Temple. That's how predominant a lot of our people fled into the interiors of Africa and began to dwell amongst the real Africans, known as Hamites, right? These are the biblical nationality of the so-called Africans, right? So, what I'm going to do, so this book here I want to put the link, I want to put the title of it in the description, and I'm just going to flip to page... Bear with me one second. So they had a few customs here, but one of the customs I want to touch on is the practice of the high priest, right? And in the West African tribe known as the Ashanti, they actually kept and practiced this particular custom, right? And that's the sake of this lesson I want to bring out. Okay, so this is page 32, and the title of this book is called The Hebrew Heritage of Black Africa, right? So here it says on page 32, it says, to be sure, the existence of a priesthood is rather a universal phenomenon. Organized religion must have some kind of leadership if it is to function. However, one important outward symbol existed among the Ashanti priesthood, which links it closely to ancient Israel. The symbol is the breastplate worn by the high priest as a symbol of the authority, including their right to represent the reigning Ashanti king or queen, right? And well, they're going off on the queen part because the breastplate was actually worn by the high priest. You're under the Levitical priesthood. It was worn by Aaron and his sons, not mother Salakia, the brother, excuse me, of Moses, right? And I want to get that. So on page 33, it says Stanley describes the breastplate worn by the Ashanti ambassadors, but simply as a gold-plated badge on his breast. Professor A.B. Ellis, who wrote a book about his own experiences on the Gold Coast during the same period, also says the Ashanti representative pointed to the gold plates on the breasts as being their insignia of office. The exact details of this breastplate is shown in the illustration of prior, which Stanley put in his book, right? And this was a custom that was practiced by the Israelites. No other nation actually had this particular custom, and the high priest was served as a mediator between the Most High Yahweh and the congregation of Israel, right? And so let's get that actually in the scriptures, because it actually goes into detail about the priest, the high priest, and this is part of their garment, right? So let's go to Exodus, and this is Exodus chapter 28. I'm just going to jump around really. So here the title, it says the garment of the priests, and it says, I want to read verse 1, and it reads the following: And take thou unto thee Aaron thy brother, and his sons with him from among the children of Israel, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office, even Aaron, Nadab, and Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar, Aaron's sons. Thou shalt make holy garments for Aaron thy brother, for glory and for beauty. Verse 3, And thou shalt speak unto all that are wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom, that they may make Aaron's garments to consecrate him, that he may minister unto me in the priest office. These are the garments which they shall make: the breastplate, and the ephod, and the robe, and the broidered and the broidered coat, the mitre, which is worn on the head, and the girdle. And they shall make holy garments for Aaron thy brother and his sons, that he, Salakia, may minister unto me in the priest office. Right, so it goes into the description of the holy attire and of the high priest, right? And this was a custom that was actually even practiced, as the author is describing, amongst the Ashanti, right? And that is the role of the high priest. They actually serve as that someone who actually mediates between, the congregation of Israel and the Most High Yahweh, right? And I'm just gonna jump down to, as a matter of fact, I had a picture here. I saw this picture I wanted to pull up really quickly. So this is an idea of what the high priest garment would look, right? And so right here, as you can see, the breastplate would have the 12 stones representing the 12 different tribes, right? And this was the custom that was kept by the West African tribe known as the Ashanti, right? So here, chapter 28 goes more into detail about the different parts of the priestly garment, right? So you have the ephod, and then you have the with the mitre. There's supposed to be a mitre on top here, and then the bells underneath, and it's all made of like very righteous clothing. Like, for example, linen. Like, linen is a fabric that is made from flax, which is it's a fabric of healing, right? Okay, let's jump to, forgive me one second. I'm going to jump to verse 15. Okay, where it describes the actual breastplate. And it says, "And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work after the work of the ephod. Thou shalt make it of gold, of blue, purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen. Thou shalt make it." And verse 21. And this is what's on the actual breastplate itself, because I made that point earlier. And it says, "And the stones shall be the names of the children of Israel, 12 according to the names, like the engravings of the signet. Every one with his name shall be according to the 12 tribes," right? So it's a representation of those stones. It's a representation of those 12 different tribes of Israel, right? So you have stones like amethyst and onyx and jasper and so on and so forth, right? So this was an ancient custom that was practiced by our people during like the time of Moses and Aaron, right? But this is something that was practiced by the Ashanti, like I was mentioning before, right? And I actually have a picture as well, which actually it fairly shows. It doesn't show it very like clearly, but I can still show you, brothers, of what it actually looked like, right? So here you have, if you can see here, I'm just going to zoom in really closely. You have the man representing the high priest right here, and if you look closely at his chest, you can see the different quadrants where the stones would sit and the actual breastplate that he's wearing, right? Just give me one second. Okay. Right, so there's also a lot more customs, but I just wanted to touch on this particular one for today, right? And let's get a precept actually. Let's go. This is Romans chapter 2 verse 14, and it reads, "For when the Gentiles which have not the law do by nature things contained in the law, having these," Salaki, let me read that again. "Which not have the law do by nature the things contained in the law. These, having not the law, are a law unto themselves," right? So, because we fell away from our customs, there are things that even up to this day that Israelites will do in their spirit without actually, knowing the law. For example, keeping your beard. There are some things that a lot of Israelites will do in their spirit without actually knowing that, okay, this is a law unto itself, right? And there's a point I made earlier in regards to fleeing into Africa, right? And okay, this is Luke chapter 21. This is Luke chapter 21. I'll start at verse 21, and it says, "Let them which are in Judea flee into the mountains, and which are in the midst of it depart out. Let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Woe be unto them which are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon the people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall fall and shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled." And this goes into the time where the destruction of the second temple took place, and these other nations, these so-called Romans, these Edomites. There was actually pictures of them, I think, on this ark. I think the Ark of Titus, and it actually shows them taking out the riches, and the golden candlestick, from the temple, and a bunch of our people fled into and scattered, right? And predominantly, a bulk of our people, fled into the interiors of Africa. So that's how a lot of us Israelites ended up in Africa, and then we began to dwell amongst the western coast of Africa, right? The book actually shows an image of that. Okay, so this is a picture I found as well. So I'm just going to zoom in. So here it says Jerusalem. So it gives you like a route of the way the Israelites took, right? So you have Jerusalem here, and Memphis. That's located in Egypt, and they came all the way down. And so you see here, this says Khartoum, and they fled all the way west. So they passed Chad, and then they began to settle along the western coast. So countries like these is like I don't know them all off by heart, which is like Benin, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, so on and so forth. So a lot of you that dwell in those lands a lot of you guys are Israelites, right? And this is the route that a lot of your forefathers and foremothers took, right? Fleeing from persecution. That's how a lot of you ended up in Africa. We're not actually Africans, like a lot of our people love to think. We were just dwelling there for a substantial amount of time, right? Let's get Psalms. This is Psalms 147, chapter 19, verse 19, and it says, He showeth his word unto Jacob, and his statutes and judgments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord Yahweh. Right? And one of the reasons I wanted to bring this out, because this was a particular custom that only went back to the ancient Israelites. This having this priestly attire, with the garment and the ephod and the breastplate. This was not something that was done by the other nations. This is not a custom and a practice of the other nations. That was only a practice that was given to the Israelites, right? So I think I'll leave it there. I kind of covered everything in regards to the breastplate. There's more customs in here, so Lord's will, I would do more lessons in regards to different customs that the Ashanti practiced. But a lot of you Israelites that are dwelling in Western Africa, in those countries that I listed off, and a lot of you guys are Israelites, right? And but our people are scattered all over the globe, right? Pursuant to the course I read earlier, right? So hopefully, this video was edifying and you got something out of it. Give it like a thumbs up. But as always, I'd just like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Till next time, I say Shalom.